The galaxy held its breath as ships from 100 worlds gathered in orbit. Peace was within reach, yet everyone knew it could shatter with a single word. The great orbital station, Concordia Prime, floated above a quiet blue star. Its silver rings stretched for miles, glimmering like a jewel in the darkness. For the first time in history, rulers from every major species had gathered here. They came not as warriors, but as diplomats. The air inside the Grand Council chamber carried the weight of centuries. Holographic banners of different civilizations shimmered above the delegates. The Velari, tall and scaled, hissed quietly among themselves. The Drakari, armored and proud, sat with crossed arms, their heavy bodies tense with mistrust. The Cathari, insectoid with clicking mandibles, kept shifting in agitation. Every faction had suffered through generations of endless war. Every faction had lost billions, and now, after bloodshed beyond measure, peace was finally within reach. Yet, as the alien leaders sat in silence, one thought burned in every mind. Could the humans be trusted? Humanity had entered the Galactic stage only a century ago. Compared to ancient powers, they were young and untested. Their rise had been fast, too fast for comfort. Some whispered humans were reckless. Others called them dangerous. Now the humans were late. The chamber's tension grew as the appointed hour passed. Delegates shifted uneasily. Murmurs filled the vast dome. The Drakari warlord snarled. Perhaps the humans have decided they are. Too important for peace, he growled, his deep voice carrying across the hall. The Velari emissary flicked her tongue. Or perhaps they are preparing a surprise. The insectoid Cathari ambassador clacked her mandibles together. Humans thrive in chaos. Maybe they never wanted peace at all. The alien leaders exchanged wary glances. Trust was thin, suspicion thick. At last, the great doors of the chamber slid open with a hiss. The humans had arrived. 3 of them stepped forward, their movements measured and calm. At the center was Ambassador Kieran Hale, tall, gray-haired, his black uniform simple yet sharp. His eyes scanned the chamber, unflinching beneath the weight of countless alien stares. Beside him walked a younger aide carrying a case, and behind them a soldier in ceremonial armor, human steel polished to a mirror shine. Silence fell. Even the loudest voices hushed as the humans crossed the floor. Their footsteps echoed. Ambassador. Hale stopped at the center, facing the galaxy's most powerful rulers. His expression revealed nothing, but every being in the room could feel it. The humans were not here to beg, nor to bow. The United Terran Accord, Hale said, his voice strong but calm, arrives to honor this treaty. He placed his hand on the glowing pedestal at the chamber's center where the peace agreement was stored. For a moment the chamber felt lighter. The galaxy had been waiting for this. The wars had left planets in ruins, entire species on the edge of extinction. Perhaps at last the nightmare would end. One by one, the leaders placed their hands, or claws, or appendages on the pedestal. As well, the holographic treaty glowed brighter with each pledge. Yet even in this moment of hope, the air felt fragile. A single spark could destroy it all. As the final signatures were locked in, Ambassador Hale raised his head. His voice carried across the chamber. Peace is a noble dream, but it is not given. It is kept. His words echoed against the high dome, strange and heavy. Many in the chamber frowned, shifting uncomfortably. Some whispered. Some glared. The Drakari warlord sneered. Is that a warning, human? Hale did not flinch. It is a truth. Silence followed. Not relief, not celebration, silence. The treaty was signed, yet the chamber did not erupt with joy. Instead, suspicion and unease lingered in every corner. The news spread across the galaxy within hours. On the lush world of Velaris, priests declared the treaty fragile, a leaf floating over fire. On the frozen colonies of the Drakari, generals sharpened their blades in private. On the hive worlds of the Cathari, whispers spread, the humans hide more than they show. And on Earth, millions cheered, believing history had changed forever. They saw hope, they saw peace. They did not see the shadows gathering in the dark, but some did. Far beyond Concordia Prime, in the unlit reaches of the galaxy, a fleet moved silently. No banners marked their ships, no signals revealed their allegiance. They drifted like ghosts, cloaked in secrecy. Their weapons were primed, their commanders silent. They had no interest in peace. They had only one goal, to ensure the galaxy never trusted humanity. And as their ships vanished into the black, one truth became clear. The fragile peace, so newly born, was already beginning to crack. Inside his private chamber aboard the station, Ambassador Hale stood at the window. Stars shimmered beyond the glass. His aide, nervous and pale, approached. "Sir," your words unsettled them. "Many already doubt us. Was it wise?" Hale kept his gaze on the stars. "Peace without strength is an illusion. They must understand that. But if they take it as a threat, then they reveal their own fear." Hale turned, his eyes hard. "And fear is power." The aide fell silent, uneasy. Somewhere deep inside, Hale knew the truth. The galaxy would not trust humanity, no matter what words were spoken. They feared human potential, feared what humans might become, and fear had a way of becoming prophecy. Meanwhile, within the station's lower decks, a cloaked figure moved unseen. The alien spy slipped past patrols, blending with the crowd. In his hand, he carried a data crystal filled with falsified evidence, proof that humanity planned to betray the treaty. His mission was simple: sow doubt, ignite anger, and fracture the fragile peace before it could hold. He vanished into the shadows, unaware that others hunted the same goal. Humanity was not the only target. Every species had enemies waiting to strike. The treaty was signed. But the war for peace had only just begun. The galaxy celebrated, but the celebration was thin. Fireworks lit up the skies above human cities. On alien worlds, banners of peace were raised. Concordia Prime, the orbital station where the treaty was signed, broadcast speeches of unity across the stars. But beneath the cheers, shadows moved. Encrypted messages traveled faster than light between hidden relays. Intercepted whispers spoke of betrayal. The transmissions all carried the same claim: humanity planned to break the treaty. No one knew the source. No one could confirm the truth. But suspicion spread like wildfire. On the world of Drakaros, the Drakari warlord slammed his fist against a steel table. His voice was like thunder. The humans signed peace with one hand while sharpening knives with the other. We should never have trusted them. His generals bowed, their scaled armor rattling. One spoke carefully. "Shall we mobilize the fleets, warlord?" The warlord's burning eyes narrowed. "Not yet. Let the humans show their true face. Then we strike." On the hive world of Cathar Prime, the insectoid leaders gathered around their queen. She clicked her mandibles as she studied the intercepted transmissions. Human words of peace, human actions of war. They cannot be both. They cannot be trusted. Her advisors hissed in agreement, their antennae twitching. Already, the hive's warships stirred in their nests. Even the Velari priesthood, who had long hoped for unity, grew doubtful. In the sanctum of their crystal temples, high priests whispered to each other. The treaty was too fast, too easy. Humans are not saviors, they are deceivers. The galaxy will bleed again. But not all believed the whispers. Inside a dim chamber aboard Concordia Prime, Captain Arik Danner of the Terran Defense Force sat alone, his datapad glowing in the dark. He was not a diplomat, but a soldier assigned to protect the ambassador. His sharp eyes scanned through coded reports intercepted by human intelligence. The messages troubled him. They all carried the same structure, the same style, as if crafted by the same hand. Yet they came from different corners of the galaxy. It was too clean, too perfect. Someone was forging them. Danner leaned back, his jaw tightening. He remembered the look in the Drakari warlord's eyes during the signing. The twitch of the Cathari Queen's mandibles, the quiet whispers of the Velari. The treaty had been signed, but the galaxy's distrust had not ended. It had only been buried. Now someone was digging it back up. 2 days after the treaty, a neutral colony on the edge of Velari space was hit by a sudden explosion. A cargo hub burned, its towers collapsing under the blast. Thousands died before emergency crews arrived. Survivors swore they saw human-shaped ships fleeing into the void. The news spread instantly across the galaxy. Voices rose in outrage. Holoscreens displayed burning cities. Alien broadcasters accused humanity of betrayal. On Drakari warships, soldiers roared for vengeance. In Cathari hives, workers chanted for blood. Humanity denied it all. The Terran Accord released a statement, calm and firm. "We had no part in this. The attackers want to frame us." But the words sounded hollow against the images of destruction. Ambassador Hale stood in the council chamber once more, facing a storm of accusations. The Drakari warlord slammed his clawed fist onto the table. "Do not insult us with lies. Our scouts tracked human drives leaving the attack site. Are we fools?" The Cathari ambassador's mandibles clicked in rage. "We see the truth. Humans speak of peace while their soldiers bring fire." The Velari priestess spoke softly, but her voice cut through the noise. "If this is how peace begins, what will war look like?" All eyes turned to Hale. He stood tall, his expression carved from stone. "We did not attack that colony. The Terran Accord seeks only peace. But I warn you, those who spread lies wish for your destruction, not ours. If you blame us, you serve their cause." Murmurs filled the chamber. Some listened, others scoffed. The seed of doubt had already been planted, and it was growing fast. Meanwhile, Captain Danner followed a trail. He intercepted a strange, coded message routed through abandoned relays on the Galactic rim. The code was old, but the pattern matched the fake transmissions he had studied. He decrypted part of it. The words chilled him. Stage complete. Next. "Good target prepared. Humans will take the blame." Danner's heart pounded. He knew then humanity was not guilty. They were being framed by a hidden hand. But who? The galaxy was filled with rival powers. Any one of them could benefit from turning everyone against Earth. But the perfection of the lies suggested something greater, an alliance of shadows, not a single enemy. That night, as Danner prepared to deliver his findings to Ambassador Hale, his transport shuttle was attacked. Dark ships, unmarked and silent, emerged from the void. They fired without warning, tearing through escorts. The shuttle spun, alarms screaming. Through the cockpit window, Danner saw the attacker's silhouette. Sleek, sharp, not human-built, yet its weapons were human designs, a copy made to frame them. He clenched his fists. "They will use us as their scapegoat." The shuttle jolted as escape pods launched. Danner barely strapped in before his pod shot away, tumbling toward a barren moon below. Flames consumed the shuttle as enemy fire tore it apart. As his pod struck the surface, Danner's last thought before darkness claimed him was clear. If the galaxy believed the lies, then peace was already dead. Back on Concordia Prime, panic spread. Reports of new attacks filled the council chambers. Alien delegates demanded immediate punishment. Some called for sanctions. Others demanded open war. Ambassador Hale stood alone. Humanity's voice drowned by accusations. His aides begged him to withdraw, to abandon the council before it collapsed. But Hale refused. He stared at the angry faces around him and spoke with a calm steel that froze the room. "You fear us because you do not understand us. But hear this. We will not be your scapegoats. We will not bow. If you turn against us unjustly, you will regret the choice." The silence that followed was heavy, dangerous. The councillors looked at each other, and in their eyes burned fear, anger, and suspicion. The fragile peace was breaking. Far away in the hidden base of the unknown enemy, a cloaked commander watched reports stream in. Across the galaxy, hatred for humanity was growing. The commander smiled, cold and thin. "The galaxy believes the lie. Soon, they will destroy the humans for us." The screen glowed red with the next target. A new attack was already planned, and, as fleets stirred, as whispers became shouts, one truth became clear. The peace was collapsing, and humanity was standing on the edge of a storm that would shake the galaxy. Without warning, fire rained down on a peaceful colony. Millions screamed under burning skies, and the galaxy pointed its finger at only one suspect: humanity. The colony of Oron 6 floated at the edge of neutral space, a world known more for trade than for war. Its wide cities stretched across valleys, filled with green rivers and crystal towers. Families of many species lived side by side. For once, the galaxy had a place where warships did not patrol and suspicion did not poison the air. That peace lasted until the night of fire. The attack came swift and without warning. From the shadows of the void, a fleet emerged. Black ships, with sharp hulls and weapons primed. They carried no banners, no signals, no warnings. Their engines glowed red as they descended on Oron 6. The first strike was a single blast from orbit. It tore through the colony's defense grid in seconds. Towers collapsed, energy shields flickered, then failed. Panic swept through the city. Mothers grabbed children, fathers pulled families into shelters, merchants abandoned their markets. Sirens wailed across the valleys as the sky turned into fire. The attackers did not stop. Plasma lances carved through districts, reducing whole neighborhoods to ash. Factories exploded, starports crumbled, and in the chaos, survivors swore they saw the shapes of the attacking ships, human warships. The news spread like wildfire. Broadcasts showed burning cities, screaming families, shattered towers. Every channel repeated the same images. Every witness spoke the same words. It was the humans. Terran ships destroyed us. The galaxy reacted with fury. On Dracaros, the warlord stood before his people, his voice echoing like thunder. "Human treachery is proven. They hide behind words while they kill with steel. We will not forgive." On Kether Prime, the Hive sang a chorus of rage, their voices carrying across endless tunnels. "Humans betray. Humans deceive. The Hive will rise." Even the Velari priests, who had begged for patience, turned against Earth. We trusted them. They broke the sacred bond. The humans must answer for their crimes. Within days, calls for retaliation filled the halls of the Galactic Council. Humanity was summoned to stand trial before the galaxy. Ambassador Hale faced the council. With cold fury, "The Terran Accord did not attack Oron 6, he said, his voice steady, carrying across the vast chamber. "Our ships were not there. The evidence is false, planted to frame us. If you choose to believe lies, then you are already servants to those who seek your destruction." But his words fell against a storm. The Drakari warlord roared. "We tracked Terran drive signatures leaving the attack. Do you deny the truth our own eyes have seen?" The Cathari queen hissed, her mandibles snapping. "We saw your ships. We saw your weapons. The galaxy bleeds because of you." Even the Velari emissary, soft-voiced but sharp-eyed, spoke against him. "Your denials mean little against the screams of the dying." Hale's eyes narrowed. "If you push us into a corner, remember this: humanity does not break. Humanity answers." The silence that followed was heavy, more dangerous than shouting. Far from the council, Captain Arik Danner opened his eyes to the harsh light of a barren moon. His escape pod had saved him, but only barely. Smoke filled the air as he stumbled. Out, his ribs ached, his vision blurred. The wreck of his shuttle lay scattered across the rocks, burning. He was alone, but he remembered the ships that had attacked him before. They were not Terran ships, yet they carried Terran weapons. Someone wanted the galaxy to believe Earth was guilty. Danner swore to survive. He swore to return to Hale with proof. But first, he had to escape this dead moon. He scavenged supplies from the wreck, patched his wounds, and began the long climb toward a ridge where his comm beacon might find a signal. Above him, the sky glowed faintly with the light of distant war. In the following weeks, attacks spread. More colonies were struck. More witnesses swore they saw Terran ships fleeing into the dark. It did not matter that humanity denied it. It did not matter that Terran fleets were accounted for elsewhere. The galaxy had chosen its villain. Alien news channels screamed betrayal. Propaganda painted humans as warmongers hiding behind false peace. Fleets began to mobilize. Ambassador Hale stood against the tide, his voice strong, his words sharp. But even he knew the truth. The fragile peace was broken. In secret, human admirals gathered around holomaps of the stars. The Terran Defense Force began moving fleets, not to strike, but to prepare. If the galaxy demanded war, Earth would not be caught weak. Far away, deep in uncharted space, the Shadow Fleet celebrated. The cloaked commander of the mysterious attackers stood before his officers. The screen showed burning cities and angry alien leaders. "It is working," he said. "The galaxy believes. Humanity is alone. Soon they will be crushed." His officers nodded, their faces hidden behind masks. Their weapons, stolen and copied from Terran designs, glowed red. "Our enemy will fight not only us," the commander continued, "but the galaxy itself. And in that war, humanity will burn." He raised his hand. A new target appeared on the screen. Another colony, another world. Prepare the next strike. On Earth, fear turned to anger. Citizens filled the streets, demanding answers. Families of soldiers begged the government to protect them. Workers built war machines in silence, knowing the galaxy's eyes watched. In the Terran Senate, voices argued. Some called for surrender, for bending the knee to avoid annihilation. Others called for war, for showing the galaxy what humanity was capable of. Admiral Kessler, commander of the Terran fleets, stood before the senators. His voice was deep, his words like iron. "We are not guilty, but if they wish to make us the enemy, then let them learn the cost. Humanity will not go quietly into chains." The chamber erupted. Some cheered, some wept, and outside, fleets vanished into hyperspace, heading for secret rally points. Back on Concordia Prime, Ambassador Hale received a final report. Another colony had just been attacked. Again, witnesses swore they saw Terran ships. Again, the evidence was perfect, too perfect. Hale knew what it meant. Someone wanted the galaxy at war. He stood before the council one last time, his voice cutting through the roar of accusations. "You call us traitors, you call us killers, but hear me now. If you force this war upon us, then humanity will show you what we have built in the dark. If peace shatters, the answer will not be forgiveness. It will not be silence, it will be fire." The chamber froze. Some delegates trembled, others snarled. None missed the meaning of his words. Humanity was preparing, and when the first true shot was fired, the galaxy would face something it had never seen before. The galaxy gathered in judgment. Humanity stood before them, accused of betrayal, and their reply would decide whether peace lived or the stars burned. The council chamber of Concordia Prime had never felt colder. The massive dome glittered with banners of every species, yet the air carried no pride, no unity. Instead, the chamber boiled with anger. Delegates shouted over one another. Alien voices rose in fury, demanding punishment. Some hissed, some growled, some shrieked. The great round table at the center shook under the weight of claws and fists. At the heart of it all stood Ambassador Kieran Hale, the lone human voice, surrounded by a storm of rage. The Drakari warlord leaned forward, his fanged mouth curled into a snarl. The evidence is clear. Terran ships destroyed Oron 6. Human weapons slaughtered millions. Will you still dare deny it? The insectoid Cathari queen clacked her mandibles together, her antennae quivering. Peace is broken. The hive demands justice. The hive demands blood. Even the calm Velari emissary, usually a voice of balance, pointed an accusing finger. Your words are silver, Ambassador, but your ships are fire. We cannot ignore what the galaxy has seen. The chamber erupted with roars of approval. Ambassador Hale stood tall, hands clasped behind his back, his face unreadable. When he finally spoke, his voice cut through the noise like steel. Humanity did not attack Oron 6. Humanity does not seek war. We are being framed, and you know it. The words echoed against the dome, but no comfort came. The delegates' eyes burned with fury. One of the council's high arbiters raised a hand, and the chamber dimmed as a hologram appeared. The image showed a fleet descending upon Oron 6. Their hulls gleamed black under starlight, but their shapes were unmistakable. Terran warships. The hologram shifted, showing weapon discharges, drive signatures, comm bursts. All matched Terran designs. The arbiter's voice rang out. This is not rumor. This is not hearsay. The evidence is overwhelming. Humanity stands, guilty of treachery. The chamber thundered with approval. Ambassador Hale did not blink. You call this proof? Any fleet can be painted in our image. Any weapon can be forged to look like ours. Ask yourselves who gains by making you believe. This, the Drakari warlord slammed his clawed hand down. Enough riddles, enough excuses. The galaxy does not care for your tricks. Humanity must be punished. The uproar grew until the air itself seemed to shake. Yet Hale remained calm. His voice rose not loud, but commanding enough to silence the room. You fear us because you do not understand us. You accuse us because it is easier than facing the truth. But hear this, if you push humanity into a corner, we will not fall silent. We will not kneel. If you declare us guilty without proof, then you will force us to answer. And that answer will terrify you. The chamber froze. For a heartbeat, no one moved. The Velari emissary's voice trembled. Is that a threat? Hale's gaze swept the council. It is a promise. Gasps filled the dome. Some delegates recoiled, others roared in anger. The Cathari queen hissed, so loudly her voice echoed. Then let the galaxy hear the truth. The humans prepare for war. Beyond the council walls, the station's corridors buzzed with fear. Soldiers and aides whispered. Journalists chased rumors. Traders prepared to flee. Word of Hale's warning spread within minutes. Across the galaxy, it was broadcast as proof. Headlines screamed, "Humanity admits threat." On Dracaros, warriors cheered. For war. On Kether Prime, hives prepared fleets. On Velari worlds, priests declared that humanity had shown its true face. But on Earth, the reaction was different. Citizens watched Hale's speech replayed on every screen. Some trembled in fear of what was coming. Others clenched their fists in pride. For the first time, humanity's words had not begged or pleaded. They had stood tall, and in the chambers of the Terran Defense Command, admirals watched in silence. They knew what Hale's words meant. Humanity had been accused. Humanity was cornered. Now, fleets would move. Deep under the Atlantic Ocean, inside a secure Terran command bunker, the top brass of Earth's military gathered. Holomaps of the galaxy glowed across the walls, covered with red markers. Enemy, Fleets, alien movements, rising threats. Admiral Kessler stood at the head, his voice cold. The Council has already chosen. The galaxy believes we are guilty. Sanctions will come first, then blockades, then war. A younger admiral leaned forward, fists tight. If they block our trade, Earth will starve. If they blockade our colonies, millions will die. We cannot wait for them to strike. Murmurs of agreement filled the chamber. Admiral Kessler nodded, slowly. Which leaves us with one choice. Prepare the fleets, prepare the weapons. If war comes, we fight it on our terms. The room fell silent. They all knew what that meant. Humanity had always spoken of peace, but in secret, humanity had built for war. That night, Hale stood alone on a balcony overlooking Concordia Prime's shining towers. His aide approached, worry etched on his face. "Sir, your speech today. You frightened them. You made them believe every rumor." Hale did not turn. He stared at the stars, cold and sharp. They were already frightened. They were already looking for an enemy. I gave them the truth. The aide hesitated. But if they declare war, Hale finally turned, his eyes like stone. Then let them. The galaxy thinks it knows humanity. It does not. If they force our hand, they will learn what we have hidden. The aide fell silent, a chill running down his spine. On the barren moon, Captain Arik Danner still fought to survive. His beacon sent a faint signal into the void, but no ship had answered. His supplies ran thin, his wounds burned, but he pressed on. He remembered the false fleet that had attacked his shuttle. He remembered the forged Terran weapons. He knew humanity was innocent. He knew the truth was out there. Each night he looked at the stars and swore, "I will make them see, I will not let Earth fall for a lie." Somewhere beyond that moon, he prayed, someone was listening. The Galactic Council reconvened 3 days later. The chamber filled once again with fury. Sanctions against Earth were demanded. Alien fleets massed at the edges of Terran space. Ambassador Hale stood in the center, silent as the storm raged around him. Finally, the Council's High Arbiter raised a hand. His voice echoed. "The evidence is undeniable. The Council rules that the Terran Accord is guilty of breaking the treaty. Humanity will face punishment." The chamber roared with approval. All eyes turned to Hale. For a moment he stood motionless. Then he stepped forward, his voice calm, steady, but sharp enough to cut steel. "You have chosen your judgment. You have chosen your enemy. So hear this. Humanity does not fear your anger. Humanity does not bow to your lies. You will regret the day you turned against us." Gasps echoed. Shouts erupted. But Hale did not stop. "We came here for peace. You gave us chains. We asked for trust. You gave us blame. Now you will face what you have created." His words hung in the air, heavy and unshakable. The Council had accused humanity. Humanity had answered, and the galaxy trembled. Far from the crowded lanes of trade and the patrols of alien fleets, space was silent. Dead systems, long abandoned, hid secrets that few in the galaxy could imagine. In the shattered rings of Cryos 7, behind asteroid belts and frozen moons, shipyards lit up like awakening giants. Massive frames of battleships hung suspended in the void, cloaked from scanners, their steel hulls black against the darkness. Engines that had slept for decades came alive with deep, thunderous hums. Rows of carriers, destroyers and cruisers, each one hidden, each one prepared in silence, stood ready. Together they formed the secret strength of Earth, a strength the galaxy had never seen. The Terran Defense Command had never trusted the Council. While treaties were signed and peace declared, Earth's admirals built in secret. They called it the Silent Shield. And now the Silent Shield was rising. On Concordia Prime, the Council believed humanity cornered. Sanctions spread quickly. Terran trade ships were stopped, colonies threatened, fleets massed at the edge of Sol. Alien leaders celebrated. The Drakari. Warlord declared, "Soon the Terrans will kneel, their supplies will wither, their colonies will starve." their fleets will crumble. The Cathari Queen sent her hive swarms to blockade human systems. Her broadcasts rang across the stars. The key. Hive has no fear. The humans are guilty. Let them suffer. But none of them knew what lay beyond the shadows. None of them had ever seen Krios 7. They believed Earth weak. They believed humanity unprepared. They believed a war would end in days. They were wrong, Ambassador. Hale knew of the Armada. Few outside the Terran High Command did. But when the Council declared judgment, Hale sent a coded message hidden within a diplomatic transmission. It carried only 3 words: bring them forth. Deep within Krios 7, admirals read the message. They gave the order. Engines flared. Crews rushed into position. Generals, who had waited their entire lives, finally breathed the words they had been forbidden to speak. Launch the fleet. On the barren moon, Captain Arik Danner lay weak, his rations nearly gone. He had watched the skies for weeks, sending beacon after beacon, but no one came, until one night a shadow crossed the stars above him, then another, then another. The ground trembled as ships descended, sleek and sharp, Terran markings clear. Against their black hulls, dropships broke through the thin atmosphere, dust and rock flying in storms as they landed. Danner shielded his eyes as soldiers in dark armor rushed toward him. The lead officer knelt at his side. Captain Danner, by order of Terran Command, you are safe. The Armada has awakened. Danner stared at the soldier, disbelief flooding him. The Armada, it's real. The officer nodded. More real than the galaxy knows. Danner felt. Strength returned to his chest. He had survived to see this day. Humanity was no longer in hiding. The galaxy believed Terran fleets numbered only in the hundreds. The truth was far greater. The silent shield contained thousands of ships spread across secret yards, hidden in dead systems, cloaked stations, and forgotten moons. Battleships the size of cities, carriers with entire wings of fighters, dreadnoughts, armed with weapons that had never been revealed, and more. Technology the Council had banned, technologies humanity had perfected in silence. Kinetic rail cannons that could tear moons apart, stealth drives that erased ships from sensors, shielding no alien fleet had ever cracked. The admirals had prepared for betrayal. Now, betrayal had come. The first proof of the Armada came without warning. On the edge of Drakari space, alien fleets waited for Terran merchants. They expected weak freighters, easy prey. Instead, shadows tore through the void. Terran warships decloaked in perfect formation, their hulls black and sharp. Rail cannons fired, tearing through Drakari cruisers before alarms could sound. Fighters launched in swarms, moving like predators through the battlefield. The Drakari warlord's fleet was shattered in a single hour. Survivors fled, spreading, whispers of ships that came from nowhere, of weapons they could not match. The galaxy did not believe at first. They called it rumor. They said the Drakari had exaggerated. Until more fleets fell. In less than a week, Terran fleets struck 5 systems. Every alien force sent to blockade Earth was destroyed. The galaxy watched in horror as fleets they thought invincible were torn apart. The Velari emissary whispered in shock, "This cannot be. Humanity was never meant to have this power." The Cathari Queen hissed to her hive, but her antennae trembled. The humans hid their stings. We thought them prey. They were hunters. Even the Drakari warlord, furious at his defeat, admitted in private, "We did not know. We did not understand." The Council's confidence cracked. Fear replaced certainty. Ambassador, Hale returned to the Council chamber, but this time the delegates were silent. News of the hidden Armada had spread too far to deny. Hale stood at the center calm, his voice cutting through the quiet. "You thought us weak. You thought us guilty. You thought you could chain us. But humanity does not kneel. We warned you. You forced our hand. And now the galaxy must live with what it has awakened." The chamber erupted into chaos. Some demanded surrender, others demanded peace. But many were silent, their eyes filled only with fear. Captain Dana, now recovered, stood aboard the dreadnought Invictus, the flagship of the hidden fleet. His injuries had not dimmed his resolve. The admirals gave him a task. "You saw the false fleet. You know the truth. Find who framed us. Find who built those ships. Bring us the proof." Dana saluted. "I will find them, and I will make the galaxy see." He left aboard a stealth frigate, vanishing into the stars, a lone hunter, searching for the hands that had framed humanity. Human fleets rose from hiding, terrifying the galaxy. But unseen in the void, a colder hand moved the pieces. The true enemy watched, waiting, and its shadow was deeper than war itself. In the endless black beyond the galactic rim, a station drifted between shattered moons. It was no world known. To the Council, no base marked on maps. Here, in silence, the true enemy gathered. Figures cloaked in grey stood in a circle. They were not of one race, but many. Their faces were hidden, their voices disguised. They called themselves the Veil. One figure spoke, its voice low and sharp. "The humans have shown their teeth. Their armada rises. The Council trembles. Our plan moves forward," another hissed. "The Council believes the Terrans guilty. Yet, the humans live. Their fleets strike back. What if the truth is seen?" The first replied coldly. "Then we will strike again. The galaxy must believe humanity is chaos. The galaxy must fear them enough to destroy them. Only then will we take what is ours." The circle nodded. Plans whispered, shadows deepened, and far away, war grew closer. Captain Eric Dana's stealth frigate glided through the dark lanes of forgotten space. He sat in the command chair, his eyes fixed on the endless stars. He remembered the attack on his shuttle. He remembered the false Terran ships that had tried to kill him. Now, with the hidden armada awake, he had a new mission. Find who built those ships. Find who framed Earth. His crew scanned abandoned systems, hidden yards, and black markets. Most trails ran cold. But then a faint signal caught their senses. A shipyard, cloaked, operating far from trade routes. Dana leaned forward, his jaw tight. "Bring us closer. Power down everything but life support. No signals, no mistakes." The frigate drifted like a ghost, silent in the dark. And there, hidden within a gas cloud, they saw it, a fleet under construction. Not human, not alien council, something else. Dana's fists clenched. "They're building more of the false Terran ships." The crew watched in silence as massive frames floated in the shipyard docks. Hulls shaped like Terran warships, painted black, perfect copies. Dockworkers moved across them, but they were not human. Their shapes were twisted, their skin pale, their eyes glowing faint. These were not species known to the Council. One of Dana's officers whispered, "What are they?" Dana narrowed his eyes. "The real enemy, the ones who want the galaxy at war." Suddenly alarms blared across the shipyard. Lights flashed, ships turned, scanning the void. Dana cursed. "They've spotted us! Helm, get us out, now!" The frigate spun, engines roaring to life, but enemy ships detached from the docks, sleek and deadly. They moved with unnatural precision like predators. Lasers cut across the void. The frigate shook violently. Dana gritted his teeth. "Brace for impact." The frigate darted between asteroids, dodging blasts. The crew fired countermeasures, filling space with false signals. But the enemy ships were relentless, chasing with cold, silent fury. One officer shouted, "Shields collapsing!" Another cried, "Hull breach on deck 3! Dana barked, "Reroute power, push engines to maximum. We can't fight them. We have to lose them." The frigate shot through a debris field, scraping hull against broken stone. Enemy ships followed, uncaring, their movements unnaturally perfect. Then, suddenly, a burst of light. Terran fighters decloaked, weapons blazing. Invictus to Ghost. When a voice rang over comms, "We've got you covered. Pull back." Terran ships swarmed, cutting into the enemy. The strange vessels fought fiercely, but when two were destroyed, the rest pulled away, vanishing into the dark without trace. Dana's crew sat in silence, shaken. Dana's voice was low. They don't fight like anyone else. They don't fear death, and they don't stop. On Concordia Prime, Ambassador Hale tried once again to make the council listen. He stood before the delegates, his voice steady, his words clear. You blame us, but we are not your true enemy. Something else moves against all of us. They forged fleets to frame us. They build in hidden yards. If you keep chasing us, you will never see the real threat until it is too late. But the chamber roared with disbelief. The Drakari warlord bared his fangs. More lies, more excuses. Humanity thinks itself clever, but your fleets already bring terror to our borders. We will not be fooled, the Cathari queen hissed. Your ships slaughtered our swarms. Your armada spreads fear. Enough of your games. The hive will crush you. Even the Velari emissary, usually calm, shook his head. We cannot chase ghosts. Ambassador, you ask us to believe in shadows. The council rules by what it sees, and what it sees is human fire. Hale's jaw tightened, but he did not bow. Then you are blind, and your blindness will destroy you. Back on Earth, the admirals gathered once more, reports of the enemy yard and Dana's narrow escape laid out before them. Admiral Kessler's face was grim. This confirms what we feared. Someone has built fleets to look like ours. Someone wants the galaxy to destroy us. Another admiral asked, then why not reveal this proof to the council? Kessler slammed his fist against the table. Because the council does not want proof. They want us broken. They want us blamed. If they saw the enemy ships with their own eyes, they would still call them ours. The room fell silent. Finally, Kessler spoke again, voice low. Then we fight on two fronts, against the Council's fleets and against the true enemy in the shadows. If humanity falls, the galaxy follows. We cannot fail. Back in the hidden station, the Veil met again. They had seen Dana's escape. They had lost two ships, but their leader did not look troubled. It changes nothing, the leader said. The humans cannot prove what they saw. The council does not believe them. The galaxy will destroy itself chasing ghosts, and when it burns, we will rise from the ashes. The circle murmured in agreement. One whispered, and the Terran armada? It grows stronger each day. The leader's eyes glowed faint. Then we will strike their heart. We will make the galaxy believe the Terrans destroyed their own allies. We will make them monsters in every eye. Captain Dana stood aboard the Invictus once more, watching the stars. He felt the weight of what he had seen. The pale workers, the unnatural ships, the relentless pursuit. His crew gathered around him. One asked softly, "What now, Captain? How do we fight an enemy no one believes exists?" Dana's voice was steel. "We keep searching. We gather proof no one can deny. And if the council won't listen, then we show the galaxy ourselves. We don't stop until the shadows are dragged into the light." He looked at the stars, his eyes burning. They wanted to frame us. They wanted us broken. But they forgot one thing. Humanity does not stop. Not until the truth is won. Far away, in the silence of the hidden station, the Veil's leader stood before a massive screen. It showed not ships, not armies, but a weapon. A black sphere, chained within a cage of steel, pulsing with unnatural light. The leader raised a hand toward it. "When the time is right, the galaxy will see power it has never dreamed, and the Terrans will take the blame." The sphere pulsed. Again, its glow spreading across the chamber, cold and alive. The true enemy had revealed its weapon, and soon the stars themselves would burn. War spread like a storm. Fleets clashed in burning skies, worlds trembled, and the galaxy blamed humanity for every spark. But in the shadows, the true enemy fed the flames, unseen and unstoppable. It began on the border of Cathari space. A colony world, neutral and unarmed, erupted in fire. Orbiting stations were shattered, their wreckage raining across the surface. Billions cried for help as flames consumed cities. The attackers were recorded in sharp detail. Terran warships, their hulls clear, their weapons unmistakable. Within hours, the hollows spread across the galaxy. The Council declared the evidence undeniable. Humanity had struck again. The Cathari Queen hissed before her hive. The humans betray all. Their claws burn our children. The hive will answer in blood. Her fleets launched without hesitation, swarms blackening the stars. But in the silence of the hidden station, the truth was clear. The ships that struck the colony were not human. They were the false fleet, crafted by the Veil. Their every line, copied to match Terran design. One cloaked figure whispered, "The galaxy believes the lie." The leader nodded, cold and calm. "Good. The Cathari swarm will consume the humans. The Drakari will follow. The Council will burn. And when the stars drown in fire, no one will see our hand." The circle bowed. Their plan had worked. Humanity was the spark. The galaxy was the fire. On Earth, alarms rang across every command center. Reports poured in. Fleets moving against Sol. Colonies besieged. Blockades forming. Admiral Kessler stood before the holographic map. Red markers bloomed everywhere, spreading like infection. He turned to his officers. His voice was iron. "The Council wants us destroyed. They will not stop. Then we must not stop. Deploy the Armada. Defend every colony. Hold Sol at all costs." Orders flew. Engines roared awake. Humanity's fleets surged into motion. But even as they prepared, they knew the truth. The numbers were against them. The galaxy was massive. Humanity was alone. Ambassador Hale returned to the Council one final time. He stood in the center of the dome, his voice carrying through the storm of hatred. "Listen to yourselves. You rage at us, while your real enemy hides in the dark. You are blind, and that blindness will end every one of you." Humanity did not strike the Cathari world. The shadows did. If you do not open your eyes, the fire you have lit will consume us all. The Drakari warlord roared, fangs bared. "Lies, always lies. Your fleets burn worlds. Your words mean nothing," the Cathari Queen screeched. "The hive does not fear you. The hive will drown your species in its blood." Even the Velari emissary turned his face away. "Peace is gone, Ambassador. Your people chose war. Now the galaxy answers." The gavel struck. The ruling was clear. Humanity was declared an enemy of the galaxy. The Cathari swarm came first. Hundreds of ships poured into Terran space, their weapons spitting fire. Terran fleets rose to meet them. Battles filled the void with thunder. Rail. Cannons tore through insectoid hulls. Missiles streaked across darkness. Fighters clashed in swarms. The Invictus led the charge, dreadnought guns shaking the stars. Beside it, destroyers and carriers fought like wolves among predators. Captain Danner, aboard his stealth frigate, struck from the shadows, crippling hive queens and cutting off command ships. The swarm bled, but they did not break. Every hive destroyed. 2 more came. Every battle won. Another swarm appeared. Humanity fought, but the fire spread. The Drakari warlords saw the Cathari strike and refused to be left behind. Their fleets launched in savage force, battle cruisers bristling with weapons. They struck at Terran colonies, tearing cities from the ground. They hunted trade lanes, slaughtering every ship they found. One Drakari commander broadcast his words to the stars. "Let all know, humanity is prey. Drakaros will feast upon their ashes." Terran fleets met them head-on. Battles raged across asteroid belts and gas giants. Ships shattered, flames streaked the void, but still the Drakari came. The galaxy burned. On two fronts, alone in his quarters, Hale stared out at the stars. His hands trembled, not with fear but with fury. He had tried reason, he had tried truth, he had tried warning them. All had failed. The galaxy wanted blood, and it would drown itself to get it. For the first time, Hale whispered to himself, maybe the admirals were right. Maybe peace was never real. Maybe only fire can answer fire. The words chilled even him. On the edge of battle, Dana's frigate intercepted a strange transmission. It was not Drakari, not Cathari, not Council. It was the same signal he had heard on the hidden shipyard. He traced it. It led not to human space, but deeper, beyond the rim. He turned to his crew, eyes burning. They're moving again. The shadows. They're feeding this war. And if we don't stop them, everything burns. His crew hesitated. The fleet needed them. Earth needed them. But Dana's voice was firm. This fight is bigger than battles, bigger than fleets. Find the truth, and we end this war. Follow. Ghosts, and we save humanity. The frigate turned, vanishing into the dark once more. Weeks passed. Battles raged everywhere. The Cathari swarm shattered against Terran defenses, but their numbers never ended. The Drakari fleets burned colonies, but Terran guns burned them in return. Every victory cost humanity dearly. Every loss tore deeper into their hope. The Council cheered each report of Terran ships destroyed, but fear grew as well, for every alien fleet shattered by Terrans showed one truth: humanity would not fall easily. The galaxy had lit the fire, but now the fire spread too far to control. In the beyond hidden station, the veil gathered once more. The leader raised a hand toward the pulsing black sphere. "It is time," the leader said. "The war has grown enough. The fire is strong. Now we unleash the storm." The sphere pulsed brighter, its light spreading like veins of darkness through the chamber. Across the galaxy, faint signals stirred. Machines hidden for centuries began to wake. Weapons not of Council, not of Terrans, but of the Veil, powered to life. The galaxy burned, fleets tore each other apart, and the Council declared humanity doomed. But deep in the shadows, the true enemy revealed its hand. The war had never been between humans and the galaxy. It was the storm the Veil had waited to unleash. The black sphere pulsed. Across forgotten vaults and ancient ruins, machines of terrible power stirred to life. Planet crackers hummed. Silent fleets rose from hidden docks. The Veil leader lifted his mask and whispered, "Now they will know despair. Now the galaxy belongs to us." The chamber shuddered as the sphere burst with black light. A signal swept across the stars, and, one by one, the Veil's secret fleets woke. Far from Sul, Captain Dana's frigate followed the signal trail. His crew had seen enough. Proof of the Veil. Evidence of their hidden hand. Then they saw the nightmare. A fleet of black warships, larger than anything the Council or Terrans had built, moved through the void. Their weapons glowed with dark fire. Their hulls were alive with shifting metal. One crew member whispered, "We're too late," but Dana's eyes narrowed. "No, we're right on time. Get me a tight beam to Sol. The galaxy needs to see." This, Ambassador Hale was weary. His words had been ignored, his warnings spat upon. He sat alone in the Terran Council chamber, watching reports of more battles lost. Then the message came, Dana's transmission. The images spread across every Terran screen, black fleets rising, Veil ships attacking colonies that had nothing to do with Terrans. The deception was clear. Hale rose, fire in his voice. "Send this to the Galactic, a Council. Now, show them who their true enemy is." For the first time, hope sparked. If the galaxy saw, perhaps the fire could be turned. The Council chamber erupted in chaos as the broadcast played. The Drakari warlords stared in silence as the Black Fleet slaughtered both Terran and Drakari outposts. The Cathari queen screeched. As she saw her hives burning, consumed by Veil weapons, the Veilari emissary trembled, whispering, This is not Terran craft. This is something else." The hollow ended. The chamber was filled with silence. For the first time, the galaxy doubted its hate. But the Veil had planned for this. Their fleets struck across every border, slaughtering, without mercy. Drakari, Cathari, Veilari, Terran, none were spared. The galaxy screamed in one voice, "Who are they?" And Hale's reply carried through the stars. "They are the Veil. They fed your fear. They built this war, and now they come for all of us. You hated humanity, but humanity stood against them first. Now you must stand with us, or you will all die." The words echoed, and for the first time the galaxy listened. In the war room of Sul, Admiral Kessler faced his fleet. The Invictus towered above the others, its guns glowing hot. He spoke with iron. "This is the hour. Humanity does not kneel. We will not be erased. Not by the Council, not by the Swarm, not by shadows. We are Terran, we are human, and today we fight for every world that dares to live free." The order rang across every ship. Engines roared, cannons primed, shields rose. The Terran armada surged forward, not just to defend, but to strike. The Cathari hive, broken by Veil attacks, hesitated. But when Terran fleets fought alongside their swarms, protecting their brood worlds from annihilation, the Queen hissed a new command: the humans fight the dark. The hive will fight too. The Drakari warlords, furious at losing strongholds to Veilfire, turned their fury upon the Black Fleets. Blood for blood. The Drakari fight with Terrans. The Veilari emissary raised his banner of peace. We were blind, but no longer. Together we will burn the shadows out. For the first time, Terran ships fought beside their enemies, their guns striking the same foe. The galaxy had found its true war. The Veil came in endless numbers, their weapons cut through shields. Their ships shifted and repaired as they fought. The Allied fleets bled, worlds cracked. Stars turned into graveyards, but the humans fought like no other. The Invictus led the charge, its cannons tearing through the largest Veil dreadnoughts. Dana's frigate struck from the shadows, slicing through command ships, revealing weak points. Hale spoke to every world, his voice uniting fleets that had once despised each other, and yet the Veil's sphere pulsed brighter, calling more ships from hidden vaults. The galaxy was losing. Kessler stood on the bridge of the Invictus, watching his fleet crumble. "We cannot win this with guns alone," he said. "Then how?" asked his officers. Dana's voice cut through the comms. "The sphere, the signal, destroy it and their fleets die with it." All eyes turned. The sphere pulsed, hidden deep within the Veil flagship. Kessler nodded once. "Then we end this now. Prepare ramming course. Humanity answers with fire." The Invictus charged. Veil ships swarmed to block it, but Terran, Drakari and Cathari fleets fought to clear the way. The Veilari cast their shields across its hull, holding back blasts meant to tear it apart. The Invictus burned, its armor breaking, its guns firing until they melted. But it drove on. Kessler stood tall, his voice calm. For Earth, for every world, for the future, the Invictus slammed into the flagship. Cannons fired point blank. Reactors overloaded. The sphere shattered in a burst of black fire. Across the galaxy, Veil ships froze. Their weapons dimmed, their hulls cracked. One by one, they fell silent, drifting like corpses in the void. The war ended in a single breath. The silence was broken only by the cheers of fleets that had once hated each other. Humanity had struck the blow none else could. Hale stood again before the Galactic Council. This time no one jeered. No one roared for blood. He spoke, voice steady and proud. "You called us monsters. You called us liars. You called us enemies. Yet it was humanity that saw the truth, humanity that stood against the dark, humanity that paid the price to save you all. We did not do this for your praise. We did this because it was right, because we will never bow. That is our answer. That will always be our answer. The chamber was silent. Then one by one the leaders bowed their heads. The galaxy had been shaken, but humanity had risen unbroken. Captain Danner's frigate vanished once more, chasing the last whispers of veil signals. The shadows might rise again, and he would be waiting. Admiral Kessler's name became legend, his sacrifice remembered in every fleet. Ambassador Hale rebuilt trust where none had existed. Slowly, painfully, a new peace began. But humanity never forgot. When peace shattered, it was their answer that shook the galaxy. And if the stars ever burned again, humanity would rise to meet the fire.